Hello, and welcome back to the Collapse Experiment, where today we are going to go over certain aspects of the Trump attempted deletion of a presidential candidate, former president, things that have been discovered, revealed, and I've been trying to record and document as much as I can on X.com, formerly known as Twitter. The artist formerly known as Twitter. That's really what the full name should be. So I want to start here with a post from BX on X. If you're not familiar with her account, you should really check it out. She does a lot of good work finding a bunch of these incels and accelerationists, neo Nazis, all the baddies that are on different platforms like Twitch. So, anyways, she says, remember a few weeks ago when I warned everyone that domestic teas were sharing boom boom making manuals on Telegram channels. Yeah, this is in reference to the device that was discovered at said shooter's home and in a vehicle. I believe it was a minivan that they think the person had with a remote detonator possibly attached to that. So, anyways, she has been posting this, and I would like to remind everybody: remember that train car of ammonium nitrate that just mysteriously got to its destination completely empty, and the idiots in charge are like, oh, well, I guess there's going to be a lot of grass growing along those train lines. As in, there was just a leak or something like that happen. It's amazing. It's been what, 20, almost 30 years since the OKC incident with McVeigh, and they're not concerned about an entire train car of the stuff that was allegedly used in that event. And they're just like, nah, there was a leak. It's fine. Okay, so next post we have here is actually from NY Prepper. And in this, if you go on this link, I'm not going to show it here, um, there's a video that NY Prepper has found where the police who are reacting, this is after bullets went flying, ears were pierced in insane ways. They're trying to get to this guy, the police are, and they won't go over a chain link fence. And this fence isn't 10 feet tall. It's not 20 feet tall. It's like a 6 foot tall chain link fence with no barbed wire on top. Nothing like that. And there's like 10 guys. I'm not kidding. 10 guys are at this gate and they're waiting for somebody on the other side of the gate to ram the gate open so that they can just walk on through over to the building where somebody was just shooting at the president. It's one of the most. I found myself screaming at my phone when this happened, and my boss was like, "What's this?" And then he also being former military was absolutely pissed and was just like, "What is wrong?" Yeah. Really need to work on PT training for police officers because that kind of shit should not be happening. Okay, this one I believe peak peak prosperity. Peak prosperity. It's a YouTube channel, and Doctor, I believe it's Chris Martenson. Uh, Man, me and him have been on the same wavelength for a while now, and when this event happened, like in my head, I went straight to there's somebody, some group, people behind this, and it's not the dude that's on the roof. And he has been coming at it in the exact same way, and he puts together in this as to why he thinks that and some of the evidence that's come forward. Here's a thread that I put together where I explain why I think this was a plot by the deep state. Yeah, more and more information keeps coming out, and more is just pointed towards this isn't dumb. The people who are working this event aren't dumb. It's that the orders they were given were to allow this guy in. Bags were allowed into the rally by security. And from people, I've seen several interviews by people who have repeatedly gone to Trump rallies. Bags have never been allowed. Never. But for some reason, at this event, bags were allowed, especially if they had a rifle in it. Security behind Trump left before he took stage. That's something else that came up. The guards that were behind him on the stage disappeared before he went up there. So like they're present, everybody's waiting for Trump to come out, and just before Trump comes out, those guys disappear. Wonder why. Head of the United States Secret Service ordered snipers not to be on the roof. That's confirmed repeatedly. It was on a slope. It wasn't safe. There was more of a slope on the roof that the snipers were on. The two teams of snipers, counter snipers, were on, compared to the one that where she's just like, no, it's not safe. That's why they weren't up there. Again, she needs to be fired. Rules of engagement were changed for the rally. That was something else that came up. They were not allowed to take out a suspect until the said suspect fired first. That's never ever been a policy. There's this famous photo from when Reagan, there was the attempted assassination of Reagan. There's this photo of this Secret Service guy. He's got the three-piece suit, no Kevlar vest, uh, sunglasses on, mustache, and he's holding an Uzi. And this dude did not give a shit. He was there to take some dude down and make sure the president was safe, right? Like, I mean, this dude like was the epitome of the '80s, and that's not what we have now. I don't know who these people we have now are, but there is a drastic difference between the people who were there on Saturday and the people who are with Trump in Milwaukee. Drastic difference. So things have been changed. DHS orders the Secret Service not to testify before Congress. Yeah, Mayorkas stepped in and said, no, we're going to investigate. We don't want Congress. Congress needs to mind their own business. So, yeah, personally, I think DHS, which it's weird. There was a show called Jericho that was on TV not long after Department of Homeland Security was created. And in this show, there was this nationwide event of nuclear detonations, let's just say. And everything was chaos. And one part of the show, and this is what got the show canceled, was the villain of the show was the Department of Homeland Security. And I find it interesting that even back then, when Bush was president, people kind of knew where this agency in particular was heading. I think they were part of the coordination on this whole thing. I think the FBI is there to cover up what happened. I think Secret Service was basically ordered to let it happen. And I think DHS, because they're trying to investigate, their purpose is to just help cover up the fact that everyone was involved. Everyone. FBI hoses down the roof, clearing away any evidence after the shooting. There's video of this. Yeah. When have cops ever cleaned up a crime scene? Anybody? Anybody know of any example besides Las Vegas when they actually patched the holes where the bullets hit in the street? They didn't mark them with numbers saying like, and this is where bullet 372 struck. This is where bullet 376. No, like they did road work in Las Vegas. Does anybody else find that weird? Like, oh, we got to patch these holes. FBI could not access the phone even though they can unlock all known phones. We know this for a fact because there was the one phone, I believe it was the Los Angeles San Bernardino, had Apple phones, and the FBI was trying to say like, hey, Apple, we need this unlocked. And Apple was like, no, that goes against our policies. Like, we're not opening that for you. And then at the end of a lawsuit where the FBI tried to force Apple to do this, the court said, I believe the court said that Apple didn't have to unlock it. And the FBI was like, that's fine. We already had it unlocked. We just wanted to see if we could get them to do it in the future. So we know there's no issues with them accessing these phones. There's also these download stations at police departments where they will take your phone if you're arrested. They'll plug it in and they'll download all your information. You don't even have to unlock it. So this bullshit here, this is a fucking lie. FBI cannot access phone even though they can unlock all known phones. They're full of shit. They want you to think, well, we can't open it, so we don't know what's on there. It's because they know what's on there. That's the issue. Water tower was not secured. The water tower that was a better position than this building that the kid crawled on was a better position, and that was not secured. And then I close it off with, I know I missed some things here, but what the fuck. Yeah, and then we've got a couple more good videos. Let's see here. There was an eyewitness. She goes over her account as to what she saw and where she was at. This was very informative. I've been trying to collect all the eyewitness accounts of people who were there, what they saw, why they think there might have been, more than one shooter, or the guy had to have had help. I haven't really seen anybody denying the fact that this dude had help. Like, most, especially professionals, are like, no. Like, the level of stupid needed for this to happen, no. Let's see here. I'm just going to open this whole thing up. If you want to know who's involved in the planning of Trump's assassination, look into who's participating in the cover-up. This is a thread that I created. DHS is telling the Secret Service not to testify before Congress. I don't want to add another post. That was an oops. The FBI destroyed evidence at the crime scene. That's them washing off the roof where the dude was killed. Dan Crenshaw gives shitty excuses he knows to be false statements in an effort to deflect from the Secret Service. Don't like Dan Crenshaw. Apparently he's like a former, I believe I heard Navy SEAL. I know he's former military. I know he was kind of up there in certain things. But this dude, I heard what he was saying. This dude's full of shit. Like, either he's the dumbest motherfucker I've ever seen retired from the military who forgot everything, all of his training, or he's trying to use his credibility to make people think things that are not true. And I'm going with the second one. Like, he knows he's lying to the public. And he's just trying to get people to not focus on the very real idea that this was collaborated. The White House sent a memo to news media outlets on how to handle the story minutes after it happened. It's almost like they had a script pre-written and they were like, "Oh, send that shit out because the dude fucked up and missed." Yeah, how do you write a memo within a few minutes and send it to all of? It's like it was it's like the memo was just kind of set in this file with like everywhere attached where it was going to be sent, and then all they had to do was click on it, like, oh, open this, find, click, send. Okay, fuck, because there's questioning as to whether or not the memo was real, but in reality, it's like the news media was doing exactly what the memo said. So, in a way, I think the news media confirmed what the hell the memo said, because it was basically like, stick with the facts, don't make presumptions, don't share false things that we don't know if it's true or not yet, which means it didn't come from us. That's why you ended up with stories like Trump fell really hard on the stage and Secret Service escorted him off. That was bullshit. Oh, what was another one that they had? It was like parts of the teleprompter had exploded and cut Trump's ear. What? Yeah, so they were telling everything but the truth. And like people at the event were saying, oh my God, shots fired. And yeah, how many news media outlets did not report that? I literally heard that on one of the recordings, like 5 seconds after Trump ducked down behind the podium. And yet we had these bullshit stories coming out. Secret Service detail that primarily worked with Trump were removed to protect Jill Biden in Pennsylvania that day. Confirmed. Keep in mind that the head of the Secret Service right now was a former agent that protected Jill Biden. Isn't that kind of weird? Like this chick was close to Joe Biden for I don't know how many years of the 8 years Biden was vice president, but she ends up getting this job, and all of a sudden, all this bullshit happens. It's a little weird, if you ask me. Okay, let's see here. This is another post that I shared. More in the white van in this clip. FBI and bomb squad were there. It was 10 miles away. So that remote detonation device was not going to work. It looked like something like a garage door opener. Parked on Trump's vehicle exit route to be detonated as he passed by, like Gladio operatives did in Europe several times. Question mark. Yeah, so there's the whole idea of this van filled with boom boom devices. J6 conspiracy insurrections and blah 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 blah. What is this? Is this like who to follow? Okay. Either Joe goes on a ventilator or he takes horse paste. Up to them. Yeah. What was it, yesterday morning? They made a post saying Biden agreed to step down if he had a medical emergency, and 5 hours later, they're reporting that he tested positive for COVID. So, I mean, remember Joe Rogan? Remember this guy here? Remember when they were like saying he was the worst human being on the planet because he wouldn't go on a ventilator and take the prescribed medication to survive it, and everyone was pissed that he lived. Yeah, dude took fucking horse paste. No, actually, it was a concoction of different drugs, including that called everything in the kitchen sink, I believe, was kind of what the doctor was calling it. It was like 5 or 10 different drugs, something like that, and he survives. He said he felt great after like 2 or 3 days of being on it, right? Almost back to normal. And people like Joe Biden were pissed that this guy didn't follow the FDA recommendations. Holy shit, People are going to think the CDC is wrong. What's Big Pharma going to do? So, hey, I'm just saying, and this isn't the first time that Joe Biden has had COVID. And some idiot asshole on TV was trying to say, well, him surviving COVID is like him dodging a bullet. So, I mean, it's almost on par with what Trump just went through. Idiots. Everybody on TV is an idiot. I swear to God. So yeah, either Joe goes on a ventilator or he takes horse paste. It's up to them. I hope he gets ridiculed for the horse paste. Okay. Watching the video of the FBI hosing down the roof. The shooter was killed on tells me all I need to know about the Trump shooting. There will not be an investigation. A report will be released of a timeline that they want us to believe with made up information about the shooter we are not allowed to question. Some member of Congress will make a statement about the Secret Service saying they did nothing wrong, like dickhead Crenshaw. It will mirror Biden's statement about the ATF after the Waco massacre. We won't get answers, information will be sealed, the public will be told to shut the fuck up, and it's time the deep state fucks are told to shut the fuck up. And that they are fired. We are done with you. That's just my thought, right? I am tired of these fucks getting away with all this shit. Speaking of yeah, this face right here. Destiny. Are you familiar with this blue-haired retard? So yeah, he's back to. So Tim Pool wrote, "It's a private company; they can do what they want." Probably referring to this dude no longer being paid by Twitter to post his bullshit. And you want to get pissed off the rest of the day, rest of the week, go see what this asshole has been saying about the dead firefighter from the Trump rally. Then why did you cry for years about conservatives being censored on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook? Zero consistency, zero principles, just team sports. No, team sports is double teaming your wife, Destiny. That thing that you're allowing to happen because you had an open marriage. No. That's the team sport that you're into. So yeah, he's all pissed off and bitchy, and the thing with Tim Pool, this is exactly what people have been saying for years. As long as it was other people that were being canceled, they would say, well, it's a private company. It's a private company. Yeah, so eat it, Destiny. No more paycheck for you. Speaking of Destiny, this asshole here said that he would gladly get tickets for anybody who wanted to go to a Trump rally. This was his statement to make it up for all the shitty things that he said. So I wrote him on Sunday, said, I'll take tickets. He said, DM me, I'll get you tickets. Today, just a reminder, Trump is coming to Grand Rapids. Get me tickets like you said you would. No response, because Destiny is a fucking liar with no principles. And the last thing I've got here, another witness, former military police, worked with Obama's Secret Service at one point. Very interesting interview. This guy had a different perspective of the shooting that took place, but he also worked with Obama's motorcade at one point. So he was very familiar with how the Secret Service operates, how professional they were back then, and how he gives his perspective as to what he thinks happened regarding, or at least what he saw, not what he thinks happened. He gave details about the things that he saw, things that he questioned, things that kind of like stuck in his mind that had him thinking about it for a while afterwards. And none of these interviews have been bad. Like they're all like really eye-opening as to what the hell is going on. So yeah, my theory in particular, I'm convinced that it was either Jill or Joe Biden. I think Joe was talked into authorizing this shit happening, or Jill was on the sidelines making phone calls and saying like, can you make this happen? Because you got to remember, Like the chick who's running the Secret Service now was working and protecting Joe Biden for years, to the point where she was the one that was put in charge of the Secret Service. If that doesn't tell you how close they are, I don't know what will. Um, but in the meantime, it's like DHS covering shit up. Nobody wants these people talking to Congress. The FBI is cleaning up crime scenes. Like, what? What the is going on? And it's gonna be what, like 2, 3 years for that final report to be coming out? Like, wasn't it something insane like 5 years for the Las Vegas shooting report to come out by the FBI? I know it was years because I remember. I think it was like just last year that that report was released, and I was like, "What? What the? Why now?" Because back after it happened, they were like, "We're investigating this, and we'll have a report ready in a year." And then 5 years later, they released the report. What the hell? So yeah. Anyways, that's where I'm at with this. That's what I think happened, and there's definitely some things that point towards like MK Ultra. The kids' parents were counselors. Um, there's like some weird photos being shared where they're trying to say, "Oh, it was another trans shooter." I want some confirmation on that. Um, he spent like $1,500 on OnlyFools. Who knows what the hell he was paying for on that? And yeah. Oh, and the parents called the police that night and said that he was missing, and everyone's saying that. Oh yeah, they know their asses are in trouble, and they're trying to cover their ass. uh, really great work on the brainwashing. Not such good work on the assassin training. And I'm gonna close with that. So keep on typing.